speaking of right-wing rat fuckery, what took down Nixon, guys? Nixon was probably one of the craftiest and really very politically intelligent presidents. Everybody only knows Nixon by Watergate, which is what I was alluding to. Everybody knows Nixon by Watergate, but not many people really understand how crafty and the political acumen that Richard Milhous Nixon had, and how he was able to really ride the crest of his time, and play a long game. That's if there's anything that Nixon, I want us to learn from a piece of shit like Nixon, is boy, he knew how to have some long game thinking, and this is what the left needs, because very much the right was, as Nixon represented it, was not in power when he first arrived in Congress as a representative. But he knew how to play that long game, and he really helped usher in, this era of right-wing hegemony that the United States has been under since before I was born, for generations now. But he was really taken down by Watergate. And what did we discover from Watergate? Not only was he trying to spy on the Democratic campaign, but he was deploying the CIA domestically against political opponents. And, as is the case often with presidential administrations, we learn about a lot of the scandals and the crimes while they're in office, but you don't know the real shit till after they're out of office. And that's what's just dropped about the Trump administration and their Department of Justice under Bill Barr. Trump Justice Department secretly subpoenaed records of 2 Democrats on House Intelligence Committee. This was during all the Russia investigation and the impeachment stuff. The Justice Department in 2018 secretly subpoenaed Apple for the data of 2 Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee, as well as the data of their current and former staffers and family members, in an aggressive push by the Trump administration to determine who was leaking classified information to the news media, according to a committee official and one of the affected lawmakers. The department sought data on 2 lawmakers from California who are prominent critics of President Trump. Representative Adam B. Schiff, right? We remember Trump loved to attack him. Shifty Schiff. Adam Shit. That was a little blue humor. I apologize. Adam Shit. Let's see. Adam Schiff, then the panel's ranking Democrat, and now it's Chairman Representative Eric Swalwell, the committee official, and Swalwell said Thursday night. The committee official, who, like others, spoke on the condition of anonymity because the matter remains politically sensitive, said that Apple in May had notified at least 12 people connected to the panel of subpoenas for their data, and that one minor was among them. Guys, they wanted the call records of these guys as kids. They were going after their fucking kids. Democrats swiftly condemned the moves, news of which followed 3 recent disclosures to national media organizations that the Trump Justice Department had secretly sought reporters' phone and email records in an effort to identify the sources of the leaks. President Trump, quote, President Trump repeatedly and frequently demanded that the Department of Justice carry out his political will and tried to use the department as a cudgel against his political opponents and members of the media. It is increasingly apparent that those demands did not fall on deaf ears, Schiff said in a statement. The politicization of the department and the attacks on the rule of law are among the most dangerous assaults on our democracy carried out by the former president. So, guys, this is Nixon-level shit. This is stuff that Nixon at least had the class to resign over once he was caught doing it. Let's see. Justice Department declined to comment. Apple did not respond to requests for comments, and Trump did not immediately comment. Oh, imagine that. Let's see. Swalwell, it is concerning that they continue to seek our records with no evidence that there was any wrongdoing other than that they were calling the president out for his corruption, Swalwell said, adding, it's a fragile time for our democracy. Swalwell and Schiff were regular fixtures on cable news during the Trump administration's early years when Democrats were in the minority and Republicans were running the House Intelligence Committee's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. So there's more to this. Let's see here. The Inspector General is going to do a probe into this. Subpoenas from data for so not only, I mean, last week I was reporting on how the Trump administration was spying on New York Times journalists. They were doing this to journalists. Why wouldn't they do it to Democrats if they're doing it to journalists? That's how this kind of lawless thuggery works. Like, you warm up with some journalists. Why not? Why not? Listen, if we did it with them, why can't we do it with the rest? Adam shit. I want to see his call records. I want to see his daughter's call records. So the announcement from Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz came amid growing furor in Congress. Yeah, so Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer took a break from shitting on Ilhan Omar to go, what? Oh, this is bad. To reveal more about its secret 2018 move to subpoena Apple for lawmakers' data and demanded the attorneys general and the Trump administration come answer questions on Capitol Hill. A spokesman for President Biden, meanwhile, blasted the Trump Justice Department's move to seek lawmakers' data, saying it, quote, clearly fits with an appalling trend that represents the opposite of how authority should be used. A lot of qualifiers for just saying this is some corrupt-ass, thug-ass shit. President Biden is absolutely committed to the independence of the Department of Justice and, having served as a senator for decades, to respecting the all-important rights of Congress as a co-equal branch of government, spokesman Andrew Bates said in a statement. This is interesting. Interesting stuff. I mean, guys, we all saw how bad Trump was in the moment as it was going on. And only now are we really getting... a fuller picture of just how brazen and lawless he was. January 6th and the attack on the Capitol, that's one event on one day. A lot of people got scandal fatigue during the Trump administration, where it was just a rolling constantly where there's something else like we're learning, and that's just during the administration. And keep in mind, Trump would often run subterfuge, tweet something outrageous and crazy, right? Retweet a guy chanting white power or whatever, and I'll delete it later, right? Just to cause a media furor to obfuscate the real shit that was going on any given day. And I mean, it's like I should compile a checklist one day and just go through all the different crazy ass things that Trump and his administration did. Apple has responded now. Apple says it didn't know Trump's DOJ was asking for Democrats' data when it complied with subpoena. We just saw the phone number and we just, okay, all right, I guess. Apple said Friday it didn't know former President Donald Trump's Department of Justice was asking for the metadata of Democratic lawmakers when it complied with a subpoena seeking information. Oh, they just complied. It complied with the DOJ's request, demonstrates the thorny position tech companies are placed in when forced to balance their customers' private online activity with legitimate requests from law enforcement. This was not a legitimate request. But in this case, a grand jury and federal judge forced Apple to comply and keep it quiet. Wow. That's very interesting. So, yeah, a judge and a grand jury were involved. We regularly challenge warrants, subpoenas, and non-disclosure orders, having made it our policy to inform affected customers of government requests about them just as soon as possible, Sain said in the statement. In this case, the subpoena, which was issued by a federal grand jury and included a non-disclosure order signed by a federal magistrate judge, provided no information on the nature of the investigation. It would have been virtually impossible for Apple to understand the intent of the desired information without digging through users' accounts. Consistent with the request, Apple limited the information it provided to account subscriber information and did not provide any content such as emails or pictures. As if, if the Trump administration didn't dig into the metadata and see something promising to them, that they wouldn't have subpoenaed for that, and Apple wouldn't have rolled over for that too. Let's see, Trev 55. Of course, it's in the terms of service agreement. LOL, we sign all the time. Yeah, exactly. So here's a little bit of Adam Schiff talking to MSDNC about this. Chris Cuomo, who I cannot stand as a journalist, I'm filled with disgust that this man even deigns to call himself such when he's part of a political dynasty. Anyway, I have videos about that. So, but let's hear what Adam Schiff has to say.
At the same time, look, Bill Barr lied to the country about the Mueller report. He lied to Congress about what he was aware of Mueller's objections to his false summary. He had a long pattern of duplicity, as well as intervening in specific cases of Roger Stone and Mike Flynn to try to protect those who were lying to cover up for the president, and to authorize investigations of his opponents. And so, I view Bill Barr as the second most dangerous person in the country after Donald Trump, and this is just further proof of that point.
Without revealing their identities, to your knowledge, how many people were swept up in this effort in terms of looking at people's records?
A lot. And the reality is I don't really know how many because, and I think we'll find out about more now that the story has broken, because people got these notices, these emails from Apple and thought they were either spam or that they were, some kind of a spear phishing attempt or something. And so I'm not sure that we know how many are impacted. And I would like to know, we've asked the Justice Department, was this just going after Democrats and Democratic staff? They know.
They know exactly who was looked at and for what period. Just to be clear before people misconstrue the idea about Apple. Apple was under a gag order. And obviously you know all this, Chairman, but for the audience. So the DOJ said, you're going to give us these records and you're going to shut up. And ordinarily...
I don't want to hear any more from Cuomo, but Trev Flat 5 says... Adam Schiff grade as a representative fail. Yeah, I mean, dude, he's a prosecutor. He's a right wing. I mean, he's a law and order Democrat. Personally, I think those types of politicians are good for what they're good for. You know what I mean? And in the case of Schiff, that was like making Trump very uncomfortable. Making Trump very angry, at least, I criticize the Democrats for not having any oppositional stance towards the Republicans. At least Adam Schiff, for all his shitty politics, yes, at least he has that. At least he has some semblance of a backbone when it comes to that kind of stuff. And we see, obviously, that the Republicans felt that way about him because they were spying on the fucking guy. It's so crazy, like the discourse in the United States, especially as it refers to the Republican Party, is such like frog in the pot of water shit, right? Where the right wing and the Republican Party just gets to escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate, and so many people just go, yeah, but the Democrats, they want to defund the police. Right? As Republicans get to fucking spy on people. Even old Ronnie Reagan had the Iran-Contra scandal where, he had a secret shadow government trading fucking arms for hostages with Iran, which we're all supposed to be so afraid of, right? This one Middle Eastern country we're all supposed to be so afraid of. Ronald Reagan was trading arms with them for hostages and funding, the Contras in Nicaragua, another right-wing state terror killing squad, right? I mean, that's just in Ronald Reagan's time, right? And, George W. Bush presides over the biggest, legislative destruction of civil liberties with the Patriot Act and the Department of Homeland Security militarized so many aspects of and gave the intelligence agency so much power over your and my life. Trump is using the DOJ as his personal proxy to get the metadata from Democrats, but the NSA is taking all of our fucking metadata all the time, right? They're watching all of us. They're tracking us, all of that stuff. It's just crazy. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.